Chris, how far are we from an agreement on a new government? How much progress has been made in recent weeks since, of course, the election in Germany? How much progress towards a coalition?
Yeah, hi, Tom. So on Saturday, they agreed to go what's called to coalition negotiations from exploratory talks. So it's a procedural step. It was largely expected because it's the only centrist coalition option available. So they took that step a little bit faster than expected. So, I mean, that's a good sign on its own. But what happens next, the coalition negotiations are really probably weeks, and those can be very contentious. As the parties get down to the nitty-gritty of actually what the policies look like, what does the government program look like? So that it's still weeks away before there's actually a working government in Germany.
Still weeks away. And in parallel, though, they're pushing through policy, or they hope to push through policy in the current parliament before the Bundestag changes, of course. And part of that will be the massive spending on infrastructure and defence. Is that going to get across the line? How much confidence should we have that that gets through? And is that the turnaround, do you think, that this country needs?
Yeah. I think that's going to be a critical moment for this new government, because basically they're looking to the old parliament to fund the program of the new parliament. And also they're going right now, they have like a very narrow window to pass the spending package, because if they don't do it now under the old parliament, the conditions change under the new parliament, where the far-right AFD, which is like intending on blocking these things, and the spending package and then special session of parliament, which is going to come within the next couple weeks, is going to face legal challenges. That's already certain. But right now we've seen already this weekend that the Greens are very skeptical, and Merz and the SPD need the Greens in order to get the spending package through. So they've already started to ratchet up the price for their support, and it's going to be a tense couple weeks. I mean, I think at the end of the day, because Germany needs this money, they've underspent for decades. That's sort of been widely accepted among the mainstream that they need to do something, and the scale of this package is a bazooka, as they like to say in Germany sometimes. And so, the Greens, it'll eventually, it's likely to go through, but there'll be a lot of tensions before that happens.
Okay, and the Greens trying to extract whatever they can before that point, it seems. Yeah. Look, as you've documented, Chris, Germany, of course, has been in and out of crisis for the last 20 years. What makes this period, do you think, stand out? What makes this period different?
I think we've seen that just in the federal election alone. So there were 7 parties competing for seats in parliament, and that hasn't been the case in Germany in the past 20 years, 70 years. There was generally political stability, even during the time of when Germany was the sick man of Europe, around Schroeder, around 2000, the early 2000s. That was still dominated by the centrist party of the CDU and the SPD. And now we've seen this in this election that the SPD has fallen to 3rd place. The far right is in 2nd place. And the fragmentation creates political risks of coalitions like we're seeing now, and like we saw in the Scholz government, of coalitions finding it difficult to push through the reforms that the country needs and to actually rally the country together. And that's sort of the different conditions of this crisis versus crises that Germany has faced in the past.